OD. What a tough day. Tough day ahead for you. You've got to be a floof mallow. You got to cuddle people. You got to eat kibbles. You got to poop. You got to pee. Oh my goodness.
Fetch.
Got to play fetch. Maybe get a brush. Oh yeah. What a day. You got a full day for you. Bonjour, comment ça va? How do I click off the page, Jack? There's too many browser windows open. Somebody help me. Too many search bars. How did I get 3 Yahoo search bars? What is this? It's too crazy for me, Jack. That was a fun episode. It was good. It's fun. It's funny. We recorded that episode, I don't know, probably like over a month ago now. I think we recorded that episode before we went to LA, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. That might even be 2 months old, honestly.
Yeah, and so it's just like it's weird for me watching them because they're new to me now too again.
Yeah.
Because we've made like, I don't know, 60 episodes between this and that.
Yeah. It's like, you guys do so many episodes, there's just no way you could remember everything you've ever covered.
No. We're pretty careful about it, but sometimes there's going to be overlap. Do you think it's better that his identity as a trans person was revealed, though? I mean, I gave an example. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of, I said that kind of in the show. Like, even though it was kind of mean and against his wishes, it provided visibility for trans people at a time when it just was unheard of, but there were trans people living all over the place. And they could not strip his accomplishments nor change the name on his headstone. So fuck them. They could be salty about it all they want. All it did was provide visibility of a trans man doing a fucking super competent job. Even the people that hated him said that he was brilliant. So yes, ultimately.
And he didn't even have any like surviving family. That's why it came out. Like that chick was like, "Oh, how much do I got to pay to keep this secret?" He's like, "You don't have no family."
Yeah, let's go ahead and reveal it then. It's proof of life for trans men at a time when nobody wanted to even consider that they could exist. Yes. And not only that, but just like fucking unimpeachable proof of life. He had served all over the fucking world and fundamentally changed for the better every environment that he was involved in. Like, that's what he was known for.
Yeah, like if he was just a woman masquerading as a man, you think he'd get tired of it at some point. It's like, oh, I got some money, I got some prestige, I'm just gonna go be a woman again now.
Yeah. I also love the fact that he was a genuine asshole.
Yeah.
Like, that part to me is super humanizing, because a lot of times these historical figures, even when you look into them now, a lot of the information that we find about these trans trailblazers is pulled from these very pro-trans sources. And I think there's a tendency to maybe whitewash out some of their negative personality traits or just omit them if there's any knowledge of them. So it was really interesting, to hear about James and how, he's just really good at his job, and that floated his really negative kind of angsty personality.
Do no harm, but take no shit.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Really cool stuff.
Got in a fight with Florence Nightingale.
Yes, thank you, Spork. Yeah, Victorian trans house. I wonder if House was in some ways based on, like the people that created House. It would be interesting to I figure they probably would have said something about it now.
Yeah.
But it is very interesting, the parallels that you see there. Victorian trans house, but real. Not like a character that somebody wrote to be quirky, like the real House.
Yeah.
And a trans man.
Yeah.
Fucking
I would
based.
Compare him to House, because like House was very like, I'm gonna break the rules, and James Barry was like, I'm gonna break the rules of like the hierarchy that I'm gonna institute.
Well, that's a lot of what House was doing too.
Yeah.
House was always fighting against all the medical professionals that had oversight over him and doing shit he wasn't supposed to do, and that's what Barry did. They told him, no, you won't fucking put ovens in the thing. He was like, fuck you, there's ovens there now. Come and arrest me or whatever. And they did. But then everything went to shit, and they were like, we need James Barry back.
I mean, you probably got a lot of connects. Like, if you're a doctor in, like, the 1800s, probably a lot of people got sick, so it's probably like, oh, let's arrest him. It's like, well, he saved my kid from smallpox. It's like, oh, okay.
Not only that, but it's just like the soldiery would probably say, like, dude, when James Barry was involved, like, we got better care, we were happier, we were eating better. Like, they started getting all salty about it, probably, and the commanders were like, all right, release Barry and put him back in his position. It's just a great example of somebody that gave no fucks other than having a very strong moral compass towards helping people. You know what I mean? And that is so fucking admirable to me. It's very rare to find a person. Like, think about the rarity of James Barry. It's so rare to just find a human being that is laser focused and has a mission in life and doesn't give a two fucks what people think. And is willing to put the middle finger up at the fucking aristocracy and the power structure and do what's right every day. And then a trans person that did that at a time where trans people didn't even exist, weren't even visible in society. It's just fucking unthinkable. You know what I mean? It's an amazing figure.
Didn't even fucking have time to worry about being trans. It's like, yeah, I'm a man, but I ain't gonna stress over it. I got shit to do.
Yeah, had way more to do, and lived at a time where, like, even if he wanted to be an activist about it, he really had no venue for it, and so he was just like determined to live his life the way that he wanted to live it. My friend's dad was literally a man who lived to help other people. Totally inspiring dude. You know it when you see it. Yeah, precious few people like that. And this idea that they're all this, like, sunny, good Samaritan type, too. A lot of them are. But sometimes those people are fucking assholes in every other aspect of their lives because they don't have, like, I get the real feeling from James Barry that it was less about ego and more just about having no time. I've got no time to deal with your little fucking personality shit. I've got work to do. And if you're not fucking availing me of that, then you're a problem for me. It just sounds like she was very fastidious and knew exactly what needed to be done. And when people deviated from that, she probably got real salty with them. That's what needs to happen.
He's like, shit ain't gonna get done if I'm not an asshole about it.
Mm-hmm.
People want to be comfortable and do things the same way they've always done it. And
yep.
Need some pushback.
Sorry, misgendering. Just an accident, of course, but
I mean, yeah, that's the problem, I think, with, like, covering, like, really historical trans figures is, like, you know their dead name and stuff, but it's like,
it's tougher.
Yeah.
It's tough for me just to this day with, but I always try to correct myself when, I didn't even catch it that time.
Yeah. I guess maybe it'd be better to just, like, not cover that part of their life at all, but then it kind of erases their
you have to.
Yeah.
That whole point of trans trailblazers is to point out people who did extraordinary things in addition to the extraordinary thing of being out as a trans person way before, or just living as a trans person way before that identity was even recognized in society. And so you have to cover the fact that they're trans. You know what I mean? It's fundamental. But I don't know, dude. Really inspiring stuff for me. It's just like there's so many people out here, and I'm one of them, who adversity and everything is just a barrier in my life, and then you read about people like that, and James Barry was not like some aristocrat's, fucking son. James Barry came from dog shit nothing and ended up serving this amazing career, doing amazing things, graduating with an MD at 22. And in his early 20s, going on to being the fucking medical director for the whole colony in Australia, then Canada,
Cape Town.
or Cape Town, South Africa, sorry. South Africa, then fucking Canada. Just fucking crazy, dude. What a life. And then you factor in all the other shit too, like how long it took to travel and how fucking crazy it was to move from one area of the world to another back
South
then.
Africa's about like as far as you can get from another place.
Right, and then he went to Canada.
Yeah.
It's like, what a fucking move. Bounce, 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 bounce. Yeah. Just all over just a globe-trotting person at a time when that just wasn't a thing. You know, most people lived and died within 10 miles of where they were born.
And he retired like 1 year before he died. So he basically worked
Yeah.
until his grave.
Yeah. Worked and then got 1 year of like, all right, this is retirement, I guess, and then croaked, you know. Just served their whole life. Really interesting. And then Wendy Carlos, I mean, like undeniably influential. I mean, you talk about doing like not one contributing, not one, but 2 Kubrick films. That's your badge of honor right there. The fact that she went on to pioneer that entire type of music and work on so many other iconic things and do so many other things.
Yeah. She's like, fucking, I'm done composing. I'm gonna do like some groundbreaking clips photography and shit. Fuck it.
Just really cool. It's really like full lives, you know what I mean? Really inspiring. There really is like something about like certain people are just dauntless, you know, and it really fucking works. It's not something I think all of us can do, but some people are just dauntless. They're not going to be stopped. They're going to be what they want to be. They're going to do whatever it is that they're passionate about, and they're not going to be fucking dissuaded. They're not going to be fought against or told no. They're just going to do it. You know, and that's so admirable to me, trans or not, you know, but.
Yeah, you gotta consider all the shit they're going through in their head. It's like all that plus like constant dysmorphia and shit.
Right. It's like, what a struggle. She was a trans trailblazer for an industry that's kind of become a safe haven for trans girls. There's so many girls I know who make electronic music or are programmers. Yeah, for sure.
About like just getting shit done.
Yeah. Was your dream job as a kid? The first thing I remember wanting to be, like really telling people like, I want to do this, was a marine biologist. So I was really young and I went on this, we went to the Monterey Bay Aquarium, and my parents had booked us this little tour. They were offering this little boat tour where they would take you out on a boat and let you observe like some of the sea life, you know, that was in the little cove there in Monterey. You see sea lions and all that shit. And the guy introduced himself as a marine biologist, and I remember I asked him, I was probably 6 or 7 years old at this point. Remember I asked him like, what is a marine biologist? And he told me, well, it's my job to study the ocean and to study the animals that live in the ocean. And I was like, fuck, that's a job? Dope. And so I went around telling people like, dude, I want to be a marine biologist, which is kind of cute, you know. I just loved the ocean from a very young age. I was drawn to the ocean, so.
But there's just so much math involved, the science that's involved.
Yeah, I had no clue what that meant. I just thought that he got to live his life looking at fucking sea lions and, you know, learning about them that way visually, which is one part of it, of course, but it's a whole lot of like other shit that goes on measuring. Comparing against other species and blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
I don't think you're in this sector.
But I didn't think he had to cut open a fucking goddamn sea lion, you know? I thought he was just looking at him. I was like, wow, what a job. Otters, seals, clams. Dude, I love sea life to me is just so fucking interesting. It's like an alien world to me almost. You afraid of sharks? Not really. I mean, I have a healthy awareness of the fact that certain waters have dangerous sharks in them. Like you'd be stupid to go into an ocean with no shark net that had migratory great whites or tiger sharks, especially, are the ones that typically bite people. Like a lot of people fear great whites, but and they're a fearsome creature, no doubt. But like, if you're just at the beach, you're more than likely to get your fucking shit bit by a tiger shark. Tiger sharks are smaller, leaner predators that come. Yeah, they hunt in shallower waters, and they're very brutal. They just rip a chunk out of something and let it bleed out. That's their hunting strategy.
Probably most great whites, honestly, but like, that looks pathetic.
I mean, great whites will attack a person, but a lot of the fear of great whites came from Jaws.
Yeah.
That movie really put the great white into the zeitgeist as this like apex predator, which it is out in the ocean. It's a fucking pretty unopposed force and a really specialized killing machine. And it definitely does happen. People will get eaten, killed, attacked by great whites, but it's incredibly fucking rare. It's way more common, and it's still rare, but it's way more common for somebody to be bitten by a bull shark or a tiger shark.
Or even that, like, probably is more likely to get stung by a jellyfish.
Oh, yeah. Jellyfish probably kill way more people than sharks do, I would imagine. Ever thought about visiting the Great... I've thought about it, yeah. Great Barrier Reef, sure. Why? Why not? But I don't know if I ever will. Oh, God damn it. Bounced him.
You gotta cock it again.
Oh, yeah.
Cocked.
Always got to be ready to go. It's beautiful and sadly won't be around by the next century. I mean, huge swaths of it are not around now. It's slowly but surely dying. You think those ankle things keep sharks away? I don't even know what you're talking about, bro. Is there some kind of like ankle device that you can put on that puts out sonic waves or whatever? That's what I assume. I don't know. I've never even heard of it. First I've heard of it.
I just love like the kind of sea life where their whole job is just to be fat, like seals.
Well, I mean, seals do a lot more than just sitting around being. They have to eat to get fat.
No, I know that, but I mean, like their whole goal is to be as chunky as possible. Exactly.
They fucking work, eating tons of fish and hunting for a while until they get so fucking chunky they can barely move, and then they just. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I've been I really love deep sea life. That's where shit, like, the deeper you go, the farther you get from the energy provided by the sun, the weirder shit gets, the more specialized. And there's so much crazy fucking shit. I'm trying to remember the name of it. I think it's called Formia. That's wrong. But it's a creature that, like, the xenomorph was based on. It carries around this crazy, like, shell, has a bunch of babies on it. It's translucent, like it's see-through, so it's effectively, like, invisible in the water, so it can't be preyed upon. Pretty fucking crazy, dude. Poopity poop, poop, poop. You're on a fucking tear of poop today, poop, poop. And I'm not exactly sure what your problem is. You seem agitated. Is there anything we can poop for you? Can we help you? Can we help you, poop, poop? I don't think he's a bot. All while we kill 100 million sharks a year, sharks deserve some revenge. They take it every once in a fucking blue moon, but not often. Homie's constipated. Yeah, he's on the toilet. It's like, poop. Poor poop, poop.
Yeah, I think you told him not too long ago or something that, like, he can stay as long as he only says poop.
I'm pretty sure I did that because he started to like venture out, and it was like basically just longer versions of poop, you know. And I was just like, He was like a mod in here for a while, and I stripped him. I stripped him of his mod ship. He's one of the defrocked specters. Pooped from existence. Oh, man. Weather's nice right now. Yeah, land on the table, you fuck. Catch you peeping. Let me catch you peeping, fly. Looking forward to the next polar vortex. Oh my God, yes. Let me just tell you. It's gonna be wild. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, that's what you guys are all caught in, the Paul vortex, dude. Doodly 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 doodly. You now exist within the Paul vortex, and try as you might to swim for the edge, you just keep getting inexorably sucked towards the center. You vote no confidence in the Paul vortex. Hey, you got your freedoms. You got your freedoms. Listen, no. You got your freedoms. I, for one, take the vaccine. No. I got my shot. Look, you got your freedoms. I happen to get the shot, okay? But you got your freedoms. No. You got your freedoms. Getting the booster? Yeah, as soon as it's available in my area, I'm getting it. Stick, squirt. Stay alert. So presidential hopeful T.J. Kirk has announced a plan to start diverting energy towards mining the asteroids. Does he know something we don't? What is this new technology that will enable this? The magic machine, of course. Mine the asteroids. Give me a break. Let's mine the roids, bro. Mine the asteroids, bruh. Nah. Banana warp drive, dude. One day we might put a man on the moon, yeah. If you believe they put a man on the moon. Banana warp. It was in 2022 when physicist, thinker, philosopher Thomas James Kirk III discovered the high energy transfer potential of the banana. No one thought back in the 90s, the early 2000s, that we would be piloting to the nearest star system using bananas as fuel. It took a great mind. It took a revolutionary mind. The power of the banana. The Mines of Minolta. From the Mines of Minolta. When consumed as fuel and processed correctly, bananas can serve as a fuel more efficient than electricity, using engines more complex than a quantum computer. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo. TJ didn't leak his own banana video. He just like very smartly capitalized on it, where most people would have been like, "Oh my god, I'm so embarrassed." Ah. He was just like, "Yeah, I put a banana in my ass, so I'll do it again. Do it right now." It's like, that's smart. Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away. Now it looks as though they're here to stay. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Suddenly, no, there's a shadow hanging over me. Oh, yesterday came suddenly. Why'd you have to go? I don't know. She wouldn't say. Paul is actually the real Paul. What? What's the biggest age gap you have had in dating? The biggest age gap I have had in dating. Dude, when I had just turned 18, I dated an 80-year-old, okay? Revelations, bro. Never talked about this publicly. We had a brief fling, okay? But we definitely dated. Maud was her name. Robbing the grave. Yeah, dude. She was born in 1912. Maud. You know what I mean? I still think about her from time to time. Old Maud. That old bag of bones. Yeah, Maud had a bod, dude. Most of it was dragging on the floor, but it was still a bod, you know? If you visually put everything back where it was, dude, Maud was fucking banging. Maud is not a mod here, no. Yeah, she was actually a baby on the Titanic. One of the children that was allowed on the escape boats from the Titanic. Yeah, that was her big story that she liked to tell over and over. Good old Maud. Wonder how she's doing. Is Maud even still with us? I assume she is. Maud. So yeah, that would have been my longest. That would have been my longest, my biggest age gap in dating was when I was knocking the bottom out of that granny ass when I was 18. Oh man. Oh boy. Have I visited the gravesite as an adult? Dude, that's ironically what I used to call going to see Maud. My friends would be like, "Hey, dude, Paul, you want to come over and smoke some weed tonight? Fucking, write some music, play some music." I'd be like, "Nah, dude, I'm visiting the gravesite." Oh shit. Life is an absurdity, man. I bet Maud didn't know you called her house the gravesite. It wasn't her house that I called the gravesite, dude. It wasn't her house. It was something way closer to her and more intimate. Did you pour a glass of wine on her tombstone? I think Maud is still with us. I don't think she's passed. She was probably senile too. No, Maud was spry. Maud was one of those 80-year-olds that was spry for sure. Good old Maud. Pour out a little liquor for Maud, yeah. What is this? What is this shit? What are we talking about here? What are we discussing? What is this nonsense? Oh, it's Highdeology. I forgot. Wov, twoo wov. Your friends have always asked why you always had hard. What? Your friends always asked why you always had hard candy? Yeah, dude, Werther's original. I had a pocket full of Werther's all the time. I had no clue. Oh, did you bring the Werther's original? I sure did, Maud. Did you bring anything else for Maud? Oh, you know what else I brought, Maud. I brought a kielbasa. Oh, you rogue. Oh man, this has gone way too far. This has gone way too far. Oh man, this has gone down a dark and lonely road. Oh Jesus. Oh, you absolute rogue. Take me. Right here on the Chase Lounge. Oh, Maud. You really can't wait? No. Empty those Werthers out of your pockets, Sonny. Get over here. Oh man. Oh, geez Louise, bro. Oh, man. How does your wife feel about your pants antics? I don't know, man. I don't know, bro. I've never told her. Never revealed the secret of Maud. Never talked about Maud before in my life. It was always just a secret between Maud and I, you know. That's the best way, by the way, to respond to just like a silly fucking math-based question that somebody could honestly do themselves. It's an impertinent question. Just spin it, bro. That's when you drop a loaf. You know, you just drop a lie. Make up a mod, you know. Amelia's in my position now. Yeah, the roles have reversed. Now I'm mod. Hey, you know, what are you gonna do? Didn't TJ date an old woman? I think he did. Not like an old woman, but like somebody that was significantly older than him when he was in his like 18, 19, 20s. I think that he dated somebody who was like in their 40s or some shit. Whatever. She was like 40 and he was 18, yeah. So the story goes. The older the banana, the sweeter the fruit. That's when he worked at that restaurant for one shift. He was trying to get a job. Yeah. So the story goes. Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. Jack go under limbo stick. All around the limbo town. Hey, let's do the limbo rock. Don't move that limbo bar. And you be a limbo star. How low can you go? Oh shit, it's Maud. Sorry, Maud. Married now. Unfortunate. Unfortunate we can't rekindle the old flame, you know. It was what it was. Look, we had a beautiful moment. What has this become, dude? Fucking. What have I become? My sweetest friend. Everyone I know goes away in the end. The best derail ever. I mean, I guess so. Chino. I shaved my beard today so I could see my face. I focused on the age that I cannot erase. No, thank you, bro. Dude, I remember specifically one time. There was a couple of times that I did it because I would go through these cycles where I was in a marriage where my wife did not like my beard. She was not a fan of my beard, especially she was cool with it if I kept it like real short trimmed, like a fucking, I don't even know. I don't even really call those beards, like a little beardlet. But when I started letting it get crazy, she was just like, she hated it. And so I would go through these cycles of like, all right, I'm just gonna shave off my beard. And I just remember just the regret. Like I would fucking finish shaving, right? Which at that point you're focused on the task. You're like, you're looking at it, but you're just focused on the task of getting rid of it all. And then rinse off your face. And you're like, oh man, that feels weird. And then you look at the fucking mirror and you're like, oh, why did I do that? No. And you immediately start growing it back, but you have to go through that awkward phase where you just like look like a potato that went bad. You got a little bit of mold. It's fucked. That's why I don't play that shit no more, man. I just go with the flow. I may trim this beard back. I've actually been thinking about trimming it back. Been thinking about doing something. Here's my thought process, and I'll probably wait till after I move to do this, because I don't want to like lower my chance of renting an apartment by looking weirder than I already look, right? Not that I think that's going to be a problem. As long as I've got the money, they'll rent me an apartment. But like, I want to do the fucking Admiral Burnside shit, and I figure out a way I can do it. If I hate it, I just let it start growing back, and I trim my beard back. You know what I mean? Like when it starts to look super weird on the grow back, I trim my beard back, and I let it grow in like fresh. But I'll still have the beard. It'll just look weird for a couple months. You realize you shaved off a piece of your manhood. You look at your reflection and you see a follower. Yep, a beta, dude. Beta Paul. You're like, what? What have I become? Dude, even back in high school, I was trying to cover parts of my face. I've never liked the way I look. And so, like, even back in high school, I couldn't grow like a mustache or a goatee, but I could grow mutton chops. And so I was like, well, dude, that's like fucking like what? That's some face real estate right there. You know? Dude, I had mutton chops in high school to hide as much of my face as I conceivably could. And now that I'm finally a full, autonomous, self-sufficient adult, I've got the curtain of shame. I was lucky. I didn't really have acne. I had like, the sporadic zit here and there. And I definitely went through a point in time where I had, like in my teen years, but I never had like acne to the level that a lot of people did. So I very much lucked out there, but trust me, it wouldn't have changed anything about how I felt about my fucking face. Like I fucking hated it, acne or no. Whoa. Howdy, Zonster. How's it going, buddy? Long time no speak. I'm doing well. I'm moving soon, which is kind of stressful, but it's a move for the better, I think. Moving to escape yet another climate emergency. You can see back here, I don't know if you've seen this yet, Zonster. This is a giant 3,500 gallon water tank that was delivered by the county here. because our well went dry. So yeah, we're fleeing the drought in California. It's just drying up in the area, especially the area that I, chose to move to. So we're heading. I haven't disclosed the area that we're moving to. I will tell you in private if you care, but I'm keeping it secret from the plebeians. You know what I mean? But yeah, moving to another area of the fucking world. Shooting flies on my back porch in the meantime. I'd be curious to know if it's someplace I've been. I can see if I have connections. Sure, man. Well, I'll hit you up. I'll hit you up on Twitter. Like I'll send you a DM or something. I'm definitely not going to. I will tell you this much, and I've revealed as much. It is an area of the world and a state that I've never visited yet. I'm planning on. We have a trip booked here soon to go and visit the place and hopefully find a lease to sign. But yeah, it's definitely a different environment, different kind of like area of the United States that I've ever lived in, let alone visited all that often. So I've only been in the region that I'm moving to once or twice in my life, and I've never been to the state that I'm moving to. Yeah, I mean the whole kind of western United States is experiencing in a lot of places, especially the place I'm at, what they call like stage 5 drought. So the way that like ecologists measure droughts is I can't remember exactly what it's called, but there are 5 different levels of drought. They list the impacts that you see with each drought. So level 1 drought, you start to see species having a harder time reproducing. You start to see more forest fires. We're in level 5 here. I have a well that was dug. Well, it's not my well. I rent a place that has a well, right? Beautiful clean water came out of that well till it died. But it cavitated. Like there's no replacement of the water table here. Everything is dry as a fucking bone. And there's this triage shit going on in this area, and I want to show you guys fucking something here too. I'm sitting here, right, with a fucking water tank and a dry well, and I want to give you guys a look at what's going on right across the street from me. Let's see if I can zoom in on that. Oh, what's that? Is that somebody watering their lawn in the middle of the most historic drought that California has ever seen? And where do you think that water's coming from? I'll give you guys a hint. The same water table that just cavitated my well, which is sitting right over here. That's my well, or what's left of it. Now that is a useless piece of fucking $40,000 machinery that has to be utterly replaced. What do you think about that? How do you like them apples? So while I'm over here getting water delivered every 2 weeks from the county, this person's over here pissing the same groundwater that I relied on to fucking drink and wash myself over here, all over their fucking gaudy ass fucking Bermuda grass bullshit over there. Day in and day out to keep it fucking green through the most historic heat wave and drought in California history. We had almost 3 months of over 100-degree temperatures every day, and that lawn never got a brown spot on it. And that's just one of like, if you go to any house in this neighborhood, mine is the only one that doesn't have a lawn. Every other house has this beautifully manicured Bermuda grass lawn, and every house out here, there's no county water hookup out here. So every fucking house out here is on a well, pissing all of their water on the grass. And it's the old "I drink your milkshake" adage writ large. It's the fucking goddamn there will be blood, I drink your milkshake meme. Drainage. Drainage, Eli. No, I'm out in the middle of nowhere, Zonster. I'm in like a county area community. You know, it's a smaller area with bigger lots of land, and the people out here are all dependent on the water table. But there's absolutely no, like, everybody in the neighborhood has seen my giant ass black fucking, they know what that means. They've seen them popping up all over the fucking Central Valley. So they know, these people that live down here, and everybody around me knows that this big black fucking eyesore behind me that's open to the street, as you can see, is a water tank that's delivered when somebody's fucking well goes dry. Still pissing it all over the place. Look at this. Well, whatever. My well's a little deeper, so green lawns for me. What are you gonna do when that fucking dries up? I'm rationing water right now. I've got X amount of gallons. I know from the last time that they came and filled it how many gallons I'm using per 1 week. Right across the goddamn fucking street, I'm literally on a water ration, and somebody has that fucking hose has been on for I don't know how long. That sprinkler has just been sitting there spraying fucking water for I don't know how long. I could literally walk over there in fucking 15 seconds. Do the math on that shit. These people are just fucking gonna bleed this place dry. So I'm getting the fuck out, and I'm getting far away from it too. I'm gonna move before all these other dupes move, because you know what's gonna happen? This place is gonna dry up like an old husk. And that's gonna be that. And then these people are gonna be moving east. Well, I'm getting in front of that. I've seen the writing on the fucking wall. So I'm a 2-time domestic climate refugee. I moved out of Louisiana because I was in the path of, count them, 8 major hurricanes in 1 season. And to me, that was like, this is fucking untenable. I'm not going to sit around and wait for some big devastating storm to destroy my house. And unluckily, you know, I don't want to say luckily, because I never celebrate when one of those things happens, having lived through enough of them. They're fucking horrifying. After I fucking moved, the big one came to the area I lived in and ripped people's fucking roofs off and flooded it out and fucked that whole area. So I got the fuck out because the hurricane season, the year that I moved, 2019, 2020, was so bad that it was untenable for me. And I moved here to California. This is kind of the area I grew up in. Complete dry as a bone here. It's dry as a fucking bone. It's not even the same area anymore. It's dead. And people are sucking off of the last little bits of juice left on the corpse. And then there's going to be there already is. There's mass migration out of California constantly. There's a cyclical kind of like in-out thing. But this fucking area, done. So I'm moving again. Well, I've been reading the message loud and fucking clear, but everybody else is fucking ignoring it. Still spraying. Yeah, dude. People, that's the thing, is like people don't understand the scope of what's going on. When we started talking about this, we were talking about how it's like the whole West. And so people in California that grew up in this area and grew up in other areas that are experiencing these wildfires and droughts and fucking huge temperature increases, they're going like, okay, well, I'll just move to a place that's got the infrastructure for that, not knowing that Arizona is in historic drought. The whole West is fucked. I'm telling you, dude, the next 10, 15, 20 years are going to be millions of people are going to be moving east. They're going to be flooding the Midwest. These tiny little fucking communities that are all set in their ways and filled with like seventh generation Idahoans and fucking Wisconsins and shit. They're going to be fucking fleeing. West and South is going to be just filled with people. But the South is going to be fleeing too. The coastal South is already happening. This last fucking hurricane, there was a huge amount of people that were just like, I'm getting the fuck out. Fuck it. Nope, not going to do this again. So people are moving out of the South as people are moving into it, not aware that they're going to be fucking like me, bouncing from one climate disaster to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. This is just the beginning of this. Think about when this really fucking shit kicks into gear. And these motherfuckers don't have any water to piss on their lawn anymore. And they're rationing it like I am. And they're going like, what the fuck? What happened to my dream home, bro? What happened to my McMansion with the Bermuda grass lawn? It's like it's going to hit them like a fucking ton of bricks when this shit just dries out. Done. This place is done. You can smell it in the air, dude. You can feel it. Dude, this summer was just untenable. I'm telling you, I grew up in this fucking area, bro. I know what it's like to live here. If I'm from anywhere, it's here. Okay? And let me tell you something. This last summer was, I've never even seen anything like it. We used to get like summer storms and shit when I was a kid. All the way into my teens and 20s and shit. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times during the fucking summer. You get these big summer thunderstorms that would roll in. Drench the ground out. Fucking snow all over the mountains and shit. There's no snowpack. It's fucking dead. It's literally fucking dead. And what little bit of it is left is being pissed all over people's Bermuda grass lawns all over this fucking state. It's untenable, dude. I've never seen anything like it. It's fucking flabbergasting to me that anybody has a green lawn in this area, let alone the state. This is not going to be able to support life soon. Well, that's another thing about this, Zonster, and this is something that maybe you can fucking provide some input on as a dude that's, on the left. It's like, this is one aspect of this. We're talking about domestic climate refugees, of which I'm now a 2-time domestic climate refugee. Say what you want about me. I'm not the most fucking needy type of refugee that exists. It's not like I've got like a stick with my 2 possessions and I'm riding the rails or some shit. Luckily, I work a job that allows me to be where I am, but I'm a 2-time climate refugee. I've made the choice, and anybody that's moved knows what an expensive fucking choice that is, to dip into my fucking savings and what little bit I've got fucking put away to finance yet another fucking goddamn move because it's untenable here. That last summer, that's it. It was nuts. It was 106 degrees for 3 months straight, right? So you got that. We're talking about all of the people that are going to be coming from Central America, Mexico, South America, that it's already happening. Huge caravans of fucking people. You think that's going to slow down as the fucking equatorial belt becomes hotter and hotter and more humid and less fucking capable of supporting human life? These people are going to fucking flock here. So you're talking about domestic climate refugees. You're talking about a massive influx of refugees from all over the fucking Western world and other places too. It is going to be nuts. The next fucking 20 years in America are going to be absolutely fucking insane. The trends are just fucking crazy, dude. I'm not even dooming about this. I'm just saying I don't hear anybody talking about this happening. This is a thing. Like this is not a joke. This is not a theory. This is something that is happening and was going to continue to snowball until it becomes a problem unlike anything we've faced in the history of this fucking country. Like the few fucking like sociologists and climate scientists that I've heard talk about this have used the terms like the greatest mass migration of humans in history. Okay? When they talk about what's going to happen when the equator becomes uninhabitable in 20, 30, 40 years max. Billions of people are going to be displaced and are going to be fleeing north to escape the fucking harshness of climate change. Oh my God, Canada is going to be flooded with refugees and requests and illegal immigrants. Everything north of the equator and south of the equator, far enough south of the equator, is going to be flooded with climate refugees. Just people showing up because the place they live has no water. The place they live is too humid to fucking walk outside. And their crops died and their fucking animals died and there's nowhere for them to go. It's already happening now. And it's going to continue to happen. Like we need, and like, dude, our fucking immigration system is just inhumane, bro. What this administration is doing, the fact that a fucking Democratic administration is on pace to beat Trump for the amount of fucking immigrants deported is fucking insane, dude. The fact that we're moving that direction, dude, there's going to be fucking wholesale slaughter at the borders. You watch. How could you not see that happening? As the influx of these, as the crush of these people becomes too much for us to hold back, what do you think is going to happen to these fucking people? This is not good, dude. This is no bueno. Yep. See, where I'm at now, it's aridity. The area that I'm in used to be a desert and is the process of re-desertifying because everything that we've used to irrigate it has dried up. You realize when people moved to the Central Valley, it was functionally like a dry forest. It was a very scrubby desert kind of area. And mankind rerouted so much fucking water out of the mountains and dammed up the rivers and shit and made this verdant, fertile valley out of this fucking place. Well, all the water that supplies that is gone now. Yeah. Shrubs, desert trees, it was a desert here. It was a functional desert. And then people moved in, irrigated it, rerouted the water, created these huge canals, these huge dams, these huge reservoirs, and turned this into a giant blooming breadbasket for the country. That water is gone. It's gone. The last little bits of it are being sucked up by factory farms that oftentimes waste 30, 40, 50, up to 100% of their crop. There's still an orchard not far from where I'm at now, a little farther than when I grew up, but not far from where I'm at now. I've driven by it several times on my way into Fresno, California. There's an orchard that goes on for 5 minutes if you're doing 50 miles an hour. And every year that I've seen, they'd never pick it. They never pick it. It's a citrus orchard. And I can only imagine that farmer has some kind of fucking subsidy deal with the government to keep his citrus off the market, to keep citrus prices up. And so that's his deal. Every year, he sucks water to let that fruit literally rot on the ground. Yeah, how else are you going to charge people $2 an orange farther away from where, it's farmed? How fucking absurd are we talking? It's happening right now, dude. No joke. We're talking about one operation. Think about that times, 150, 250, 350, 2,000, 3,000. Not harvested. It rots on the ground, Zonster. It rots on the ground every fucking season since I was young. Blooms, fruits, and then you drive by it for months and it's just like Old dried up fucking tangerine. I can't remember if it's tangerines or oranges. I think it's tangerines. Old dried up tangerines still dangling on the vine. Rotten ones all over the fucking ground. It just sits there. Couldn't they just not grow at all? No, because what if the market shifts and their fucking supply is needed? It's like it's on reserve. Waste it now, but you got the operation ready to fucking gear up if the citrus fucking something happens to the citrus supply. It's ridiculous. It's capitalism, not fucking feeding human beings. Let's just put it that way. Oh, it's dairy too, but think about the subsidy shit with dairy. My mom during the pandemic, you remember there were like times where like grocery stores were emptying out of staple shit. My mom during the pandemic took a drive here in the Central Valley and drove by a giant dairy operation where they were literally dumping milk in the fields because they had nobody to transport it. She was watching them spraying, like dumping the big kind of shipping containers, collecting containers of milk out into the fucking field to rot. Dairy operations can't even work here anymore. The I guess one positive thing about this is it's almost closed down the beef and dairy industry in California. It is so fucking almost impossible for people to run these type of operations anymore. The cost of importation of feed and the cost of water and having enough water to fucking run one of these cattle operations, insane, bro. So that has functionally shut down a lot of pig operations, a lot of the like mass factory farming. But you know where that's moving? The Midwest. What was not that long ago in American history, the fucking Dust Bowl, due to over farming. Good luck with that. So yeah, my wife and I, 2-time climate refugees. About to make another expensive ass fucking long distance move. Just to live in a place that has a relatively reliable water supply and isn't being fucking drowned with hurricanes 8 times a fucking year or more. Think about it. I didn't like fucking Louisiana. I talked about moving out of it for a long time, but it took a fucking hurricane to kick my ass out of it, or rather 8 of them. Just that whole season was untenable.
Yeah,
we never knew what was going to hit us.
Every time was like it's kind of projected to hit us head on, but then it would shift.
We would prep for shit, get all fucking ready because it looked like this giant fucking Mother Nature destroying fucking eye of death was heading for us, and then it would swing at the last second and destroy another little town near us. And it's not hard to do the calculus on that. At some point, one of these big bad motherfuckers is not gonna swing. And I don't want to be here for that. And sure enough, it fucking happened. And it ain't gonna be the last time either. So my ass, that's untenable for me, bro. I just can't. Eight hurricanes in just the area that I lived in. We're talking about the area north of Lake Pontchartrain in Louisiana, just across the fucking lake from New Orleans. Just in that little strip of fucking land, 8 hurricanes. You gotta be joking.
There was one chasing us out.
Yeah, dude, as if it was a fucking prophecy. As we were leaving Louisiana, it just worked out. We got out like 2 days before another fucking hurricane hit. It literally chased us out into Texas, coming in right behind us. It was fucking crazy. It was like an omen. I was like, you gotta be joking with me, dude. Moved here. Actually considered like buying some fucking property in this area at one point. Because I really like where I'm at. Like I like having the big trees and the relative solitude of living out in a place like this.
Places like this need private wells.
Yep. Places like this are not on county water. That's one of the upsides to living in a place like this is you're free from a lot of the bureaucracy and shit. You got a lot of privacy. But the downside to that is in order to be a self-sustaining person, live in this place, you got to have two things. You got to have your water from a well, and you got to import your heat. So I'm one of the 9% of households in America that run on propane.
You don't have a choice otherwise.
Right.
Propane costs are about to go.
Propane costs are going to go fucking. By the way, we need to not top this thing off, but have them fill it up to like 40 or some shit, because we ain't going to use it. But
50 or something.
whatever it is, like look, dude, they didn't give us much. I remember we had to fill it almost immediately on moving in, so fuck them. I just don't want to run it down below 20 and put a hardship on these old people. So let's get it filled to like 40, and they can fucking deal with it. Fuck it, their kids can deal with it. It ain't the fucking old people that are going to be paying for it. It's some fucking kids. Fuck them. Good luck, dude. They're over here. They got bark. They brought some bark to fucking put out here in this yard, and I'm just like, you guys are dreaming, bro. California dreaming. This place is dead. So I'm gone. I'm literally moving to an area of the world that I've never visited. Not yet. We're planning on obviously visiting, spending a significant amount of time. And we're kind of like, I think, appropriately visiting at a time that's going to be really fucking cold there. You know, we're going to experience the winter there, which is a smart thing. We're going to know what we're getting into. I'm not telling people where exactly I'm going.
But we'll knock out the cold winter.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places with cold winters.
Tons of places with cold winters. But yeah, I'm moving to a place that is far from California and has colder winters than I've ever experienced in my life for long periods of time. Moving to Tennessee.
When I was in Indiana, like there were days where it was like 9 degrees or something.
Yeah, see, I've experienced that kind of weather, but I have not lived in it for a long period of time. So it's gonna be a challenge, but one of the challenges is not gonna be lack of water or worry that the whole fucking world is gonna burn down or a hurricane is gonna destroy everything I love. Oh. I will tell you this, as nerve-wracking and silly as it can be to move and shit, and I am excited about where we're moving to. I think that Amelia and I really went through a good process of like vetting different places. And we found a place that feels really good. Now, whether or not it'll work out in the long term, I'm really hopeful. But it's definitely different for me. It's going to put me farther from where I grew up than I've ever been. You know, like for long periods of time at least. And then, you know, just in a new climate, new kind of social climate too. I'm not exactly sure how I will be regarded where I'm moving, which is always a concern for me. It shouldn't be, but it is. You'll be renting first. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. At first, we were looking at the possibility of maybe purchasing right out the gate, but that seems like pretty rash. It seemed like a way better idea to find a rental property, whether it's an apartment or a little rental house like we're in now, to get to have a little time there to visit properties before we purchase them and all that shit, because it's just
We can cross our fingers that this housing market's gonna crash.
I mean, I can't see it not crashing. I gotta be honest with you. It's like all the markers for a giant housing crash are in play, and it's just a matter. It's just a waiting game.
So many people that bought houses in a pandemic where like jobs were going down. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and the value has just ballooned. Like houses have gone up $200,000 in value in just a few years, like a couple of years. That's just untenable. It's just eventually the bottom's gonna fall out of that. The profitability of fucking that land. And see, I gotta tell you, dude, the last time I bought a big house was in 2008. I didn't work it out that way. It just happened to luck into it, and I'm thinking I might luck into it again. What made you move to California in the first place? Just familiarity with this environment.
Yeah, like we wanted to get the fuck out of Louisiana, and it's like the easiest thing to do is a place that you've been before.
Yeah, getting out of Louisiana was paramount and the easiest place to do that. I mean, we decided to go with California, but we could have gone to a number of other places that I've been before. It's just California made sense. The area that I live in, the myth of like California being prohibitively expensive just doesn't really exist where I live. I grew up in this area, so I happen to know a lot about it. And I thought, okay, at least that's tenable. And maybe we can try it out and find a spot. And it's just like, dude, being here has taught me, dude, this place burned all summer. I don't know how many days I came out here and was just like, it was just smelled like a fucking forest fire.
It's like the sky got blocked out.
Yeah, dude,
like,
we had
see the sun.
Red suns.
And then one day we just couldn't.
Yeah, and then one day there was no sun, dude, because there was so much smoke in the air. It's fucking untenable here. I gotta go. And so we're going to a place, and this time we've made choices based on fucking climate impact and shit, in addition to fucking amenities and affordability and all that shit. We've done the calculations, and I think we've found a place that's going to work real well for us.
And if it doesn't, well, pop around again.
Yeah. In the countryside. Yeah. Well, I'm used to, like, most people that live around me here are conservative, so I grew up in that kind of fucking area. I know that the more rural you get, there's a tendency for there to be more conservatism. That doesn't always hold true in every area of the fucking country, though. I'll just tell you that.
Well, it's not like Democrats make an effort in these kind of areas anyways.
I mean, I get a feeling I'll probably reveal where I live, because there are some exciting things about where I live. Maybe not like my exact location, but the state that I live in.
Yeah, I mean, it'll probably just come out as...
It'll either accidentally come out, but there's a lot of cool things that I'm looking forward to experiencing in the area that we're going to, and that it'll be fun to talk about. But it's also fun to play the where in the world is Paul's ego game.
Yeah.
Where in the world is... There's already a thread on the subreddit where somebody was like color coding states based on the probability I'm moving to them. People are doing the math, dude. They're Shia LaBeoufing me.
Yeah.
They're trying to take my "He shall not replace us" flag, dude. Yeah. Or sorry, he shall not divide us, or he will not divide us flag. Yeah. The bunker just teleports around. Yeah. The bunker exists in a pocket dimension that is everywhere and nowhere at once. It's going to be a weed legal state for sure, so that narrows it down. How do you know, dude? Maybe I'm quitting weed.
our medical state. That opens up a whole lot of other shit.
True dat. I've definitely got plenty of markers to get medical.
Yeah. I don't need it, so.
Right. I'm acting in bad faith, sorry. Bad faith.
Yeah. I think you hit like pretty much every condition other than like cancer.
Yeah, probably. I definitely have like the psychological issues and the like back pain, like pervasive daily pain. Like all of these things are things that get you medical marijuana, so. I don't think you can come to Ohio. Well, I like, look, dude, that just is what it is. You don't think I can come to Ohio, but I might. I might just do it. Willie didn't quit, though. Willie just started taking edibles. Like, Willie just said, like, man, it started to get too harsh on my voice to smoke weed, and so I had to quit. But he still eats fucking pounds of edibles every day. He's still high as fuck.
The armpit of American, man.
Yeah. I was born in Michigan, and I wish and wish again that I was back in the town where I was born.
Or we have insider info and we know exactly which state is going to go legal next.
You never know, dude. You never know. This whole I'm moving far away might mean another country, dude. Think about that. Where's Paul? Where did he go? No, whatever. We got to touch on the depressing topics, I guess, sometimes. So there we go. I'm really like, I'm still in a good mood, but I'm on the border of being in a bad mood because we're talking about fucking climate disaster again. So it's one of those things, like, you know, like I've said what I've got to say. People understand, and that's that. I want to move on. I want to move on. Moving on to a different topic.
Yeah, we still haven't decided yet where we're gonna see Dune.
I think we should just probably fucking get some tickets.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe not opening day or something, but like.
Maybe like a couple of days after opening day. It might be because like I'll probably won't be able to wait. I'll probably watch it on fucking HBO Max when it comes out.
And then,
But seeing it in IMAX is really important. So I'm thinking like let's book some tickets like a week after it comes out, and I'll watch it on HBO Max, and then I'll go and see it in IMAX when the crowd is thinned out a little bit. That'll just make me feel better about the experience. I've developed like an aversion to being out in fucking public because of this pandemic. And
yeah, I mean, the last time we went to a movie theater, it was pretty sparse.
yeah, that was cool. It was sparse enough that my mom had a bag of live crickets in her fucking purse and nobody cared. Only my mom. You gonna come up here and say hello? You gonna come say hello? Let me give you a hug. Oh my goodness. What a sweet boy. What a nice boy. Oh, he's so warm. Got a nice yawn. He's so cute. Look at you. Look at how cute you are. You want down now? You don't like it. He's like, he's camera shy, dude. He's the only camera shy dog I've ever met.
No.
He just wanted to hold it. Speaking at Cricket's house, Cricket is still the king.
Yeah, he's getting a little bit more into trouble lately.
I think Cricket is just branching out in his environment, dude. I'm a Cricket apologist. You say he was... Now, your allegation is he was purposefully knocking down the little electrical votive candles on our fireplace hearth.
Yeah.
My contention was he was simply exploring his space and accidentally knocked those things down. No.
He ate my book, too.
My contention is that Cricket was trying to get a bookworm
Yeah.
that was attempting to attack your book, and in defending your book against the bookworm, he did a little damage to it. But you wouldn't even have a book. You would have opened it and it would have been sawdust in there if it wasn't for Cricket. No.
I mean, I guess it made me look at that book again. It's just kind of been sitting up there for a while.
Yeah.
And he like wanted to be like, "Hey, Mom, remember this book?"
Yeah, read this book again, Mom. I like this one. Which animal is king in your household, do you think? Definitely Cricket.
I mean, they're about equal, I think. Like, Dinor's learned to stand up for himself.
Oh, yeah. Dinor is fine with him because, like, Cricket's definitely not, like, he doesn't attack Dinor. Like, he'll bat at him, but that's just, you know, Dinor will, like, woof at him, too. But there's a balance, but when it comes to, like, who's really running shit, it's pretty much Cricket. I think Cricket wields most of the power and Dinor is the muscle. You know what I mean? So it's like Cricket is the aristocracy and Dinor is the military. So which one of those often swing and change, you know? There are coups that go both ways. So let's... But as of right now, I would say Cricket is most of the time in full command of his realm. Every once in a while, the king has to be censured.
Yeah, he gets put in timeout.
He has to go to timeout because the king likes to troll a little too much.
Yeah.
Do you think it's weird when people refer to their pets as children? No, not really.
I mean, you kind of have to treat them like children. You're responsible for them. They can't live on their own.
I mean, that's definitely not the same level of fucking investment that you have to make in an actual child, for sure. So,
but they're also childlike their whole lives. They never, like, grow up. Really.
Right, but, yeah, and that's the thing, is, like, they don't have anywhere near the needs of a human child. They've got their own set of needs that you have to provide for, but it's nowhere near as extensive as what a human child needs. The animals are, to a certain extent, autonomous, you know. Like, Dinor loves to be around us, but when he's not the center of attention, he doesn't freak the fuck out. He just goes and lays down and does his own thing sometimes. Cricket is the king of doing his own thing, you know, where you get blessed with a Cricket visit, for sure. It always feels like a magical moment when Cricket, like, he comes up to me when I'm, like, playing video games sometimes. Yeah. And it always spooks me because I feel like my chair shift because he's putting his paws up to jump. And I'll go like, what is that? And then all of a sudden, this big purr ball is in my lap. And no matter how sour I'm feeling, I'm just like, Cricket. He's like a little serotonin dispenser. He's like a little angel that wanders around the house. And he's like, I'm going to make you feel good. I'm going to do something cute and funny. Hee hee hee. No. I love Cricket. Definitely my first relationship of any note with a cat. I guess not really. I guess me and Squex were pretty close. I think Squex cracked my heart towards cats, put a little dent in it. It wasn't like I hated cats. I was just like never a dude that was interested in having one. I was raised I was raised with dogs and cats, but I always was with the dogs, man. I was such a dog person, and I still am. I love fucking dogs. But yeah, having Cricket has changed my whole fucking perspective on cats, for sure. I thought I felt a bond. See, I learned the flightiness of cats from Squex, because Squex and I had a really close bond because I was big and warm and hairy. And would allow him to like lay right here on my neck so he could curl up like a little kitty cat. But then he started getting big, which means he started getting mischievous. He started jumping up on my stuff, and I let him do it. I let him get away with it. Then he started chewing through wires. One time I sat down to do a stream, and like one of my monitors was just dead. Just not, like it was, the power was on, and I went around the back, and he had chewed through an entire HDMI cable. Just chewed it completely to shit. And at that point, he and I had a rift because I had to start putting him in timeout and shit. And once I started, like, I wasn't mean to him, but I'm like picking him up off of it and putting him out of the room and shit. It was like, well, fuck you then. And his and I's little brief relationship was over. That's the difference, I think, between like an adolescent cat and a grown cat too.
I mean, I end up being the enforcer because I'm still his mama, so I'm allowed to like enforce with him and be like stern with him, but he ends up forgiving me for it.
Yeah. I mean, I do it too. There are times where I'll grab his little booty up and move him somewhere, but it's pretty rare. You really shouldn't grab male, like adult cats by the scruff of their neck and shit, or dogs, really. It's not good.
I mean, the only real time is like if you're like trying to give them a pill or something.
Sure.
Or, like you
If
really
it's
have to get them
some kind of medical thing or whatever, you shouldn't be lifting up animals by the scruff of their neck,
Yeah.
unless they're little puppies. That's something you can do when you're training a little puppy, because there's a natural inclination for them to go into a certain, like I did it with Dinor. I had to do a lot of dominance training with Dinor because Dinor was like, as a puppy especially, he was going down the road of like, I'm gonna be a destructive ass fucking dog. I'm gonna tear up your carpets, I'm gonna tear up your fucking house, I'm gonna tear up everything that I can get my hands on. I'm gonna be a bitey little dog too. And once I started seeing, like, I'd had enough dogs in my life, I started seeing that streak in him when he started coming out of puppyhood. Every puppy is kind of like that. Every puppy is just this big. But once he started getting out of that and going into that kind of like out of the toddler phase and into the fucking childhood phase, and he still was like, those things were getting worse, dominance training. So what ended up working better with Dinor than the scruff of the neck thing, although I did use it on him when he was a tiny little dude, like stop. But what ended up working with him was pinning him on his back. And, you know, I wouldn't like apply any pressure, but this is something that other dogs do. Like mother dogs will do to puppies, roll them over on their back where they're most vulnerable and then hold them there. And that's what I would do. And there's actually a few tricks that I learned. It seems a little mean, but like for dogs, showing your teeth is obviously aggression. So if you really want to drive home that what a dog, and here's another thing too, you have to catch a dog in the act. This whole like, if a dog shits in the house, you rub their nose in it thing, it's so stupid. They don't understand they don't make the connection. They're not human beings. You have to catch them in the act. So you have to catch them about to squat and go, nope, 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 nope. Take them outside. That's how he got potty trained. You know what I mean? And this was one of those tactics when he was getting out of control.
I mean, with cats too, it's like if you don't catch them fucking doing it,
you may as well not even fucking, berate them for it.
Like I think with like kittens, it's like if they poop somewhere, it helps to like pick up the poop and see that you put it
you put it in the litter box, right?
Yeah.
And with dogs, you just gotta catch them. You can tell when a dog is about to shit if you know what to look for. They start sniffing, they start circling.
Yeah.
And you're just like, nope, come on, take your little ass outside on the grass, and then he'd shit. And you do that for 2-3 months, and a dog is effectively housebroken. The only time Dinor has an accident in the house is if he's got diarrhea or some shit.
Or it's our fault.
Yeah. We just didn't take him out or whatever the fuck. We forgot to let him out. We forgot to make sure he pooped. And he holds one in, and then we're asleep, and he can't. So he comes into the kitchen and poops in the kitchen. Don't you, Dinor?
He's a good boy, though. He knows that it's easier to clean up on hardwood than carpet.
He knows it's not good. He knows it's not good.
He tries to get as close to the door that he gets let out of as possible.
Because he's a good boy. But yeah, Dinor, you don't want to like... I never wanted Dinor to be this like super trained, like super perfect dog. But I definitely wanted to make sure that he was a safe dog. And he's big enough. I'm glad I did this now. He ended up being big enough, and I didn't know it at the time, but even a little dog can do damage to people. That had I not trained him right, he would have been a bitey little shit. You know what I mean? And that's not good. So I'm really glad that it's just something I have experience with. So I'm not a great dog trainer, but I'm a great puppy raiser. I know how to do the body language thing, and I know how to make myself assertive. I know that you want to be the pack leader, but you're not going to be pack leader.
I know your psychology of your little walnut brain in there
And
to the best I can.
It helps to neuter.
Oh yeah, well that's a must for me. I would never have a dog that was
That's part of their
unspayed.
like extra aggression.
Absolutely, it's part of what connects them to wild animals. I mean, maybe if I lived out in the middle of nowhere and I had a total like outside hunting type of dog or some shit, you don't neuter him or whatever because you want that hunt instinct. But if you're having just like a dog like Dinor, you don't want him running around with nuts. Dinor with nuts would be a fucking nightmare, bro.
Yeah. Be humping everything.
Oh my god,
he still humps sometimes too.
Yeah, he I don't think he knows what he's doing. There's definitely not any fucking sexuality behind it, but he's got that fucking instinct. He'll like ball up a bunch of like blankets on the bed, and then you'll see his hips like, and then he just goes on about his business. It's part of his like getting his bed ready thing. But he was neutered as soon as they told us that we should neuter him. I think he was neutered at like 6 months, something like that.
Yeah, you wait a little bit longer with dogs.
You have to.
Yeah.
It's important for them to develop to a certain point, but you know
cats even just fucking like.
You snip them immediately. It's better to do that.
Or something. Yeah.
It's actually better to get them done quick.
Because cats are fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like, when they're horny, you can't do nothing.
No, you don't want that shit.
They can have babies like super young too. Like some cats can be like ready to go and have kittens like at 5 months old. It's fucking insane.
For sure. So you got to be responsible with your pets. Like spaying and neutering your pets is incredibly important. Because that's how like homeless pets end up in fucking horrible shelters, and it's also a huge driver of like the injuries and breeding. Like the breeding industry is based on it. It should just be illegal, dude. There should be a select number of really, really government oversight breeders of dogs that are just absolutely guaranteed to have great conditions for those animals. And in the meantime, every shelter should be emptied before anybody sold one. As soon as we get to a point where, you know, there's not a need for these giant fucking shelters and then subsidiary organizations that come along and create no-kill shelters, I mean, this is untenable. There's no way that anybody should be paying for a fucking Pomeranian or whatever the fuck when there's little dogs that are just born all the fucking time. Nobody wants.
So many people have this like stupid idea. It's like, well, we should let them do it once. It's like
no. I don't think that eventually leads to the extinction of dogs, as long as I said like breeding programs and shit are government sanctioned. So you don't have these backyard breeders that are just keeping fucking animals in little tiny crates their whole lives and shit. It's fucking horrifying, dude. That's like, what I'm saying.
You're always going to have some people that are going to be like, fuck the government, I'm going to let my dog keep.
That's why I'm saying just legalize it and regulate it.
Yeah.
Take it from a fucking state issue where some states just allow what is tantamount to fucking animal cruelty. Mm-hmm. Take it from a state issue to a federal issue. Make everybody that wants to fucking raise a dog, like breed dogs, go through a certification process and go through multiple inspections and, you know, routine inspections and make sure that they're
ensure there's no inbreeding.
Right. And like submit their dogs to genetic tests, because they can do a genetic test and find out how much inbreeding is happening. So submit their dogs to genetic testing to make sure that they're not breeding brother to sister and fucking mother to son and shit like that. So because that's how fucking dogs get all these fucked up health problems and die basically in their 20s.
No snub-nosed breeds.
Yeah, get rid of these breeds that are just like they come. Like, I'm sorry, I love pugs, but they are born with such a fucking abnormality that they just suffer their whole fucking lives with breathing issue. They can barely get enough air through their nose. It's sad.
I think like some people are like trying to like breed selectively to like get their noses a little less
I think that's what needs to happen. And I love pugs, and there's nothing you can do about the pugs that exist now. Go ahead and adopt one. They're wonderful little dogs. I would never speak against them, but there are certain breeds where dogs just have horrifying problems. Mm-hmm. And you know, pugs are one of them. I think English bulldogs are another one of them. They're just fucking adorable, but it's just like horrible for them.
So like that should be like the focus of breeding. It's like, let's take these breeds
healthy dogs,
healthy, and like selective breed, so they're
Yeah.
a little bit less fucked up.
Yeah, healthy dogs should be the fucking, case for it, and it should be driven by people's. There should also be accountability for people that own dogs too. Fuck this, like people having dogs chained up. My mom said this property here for a long time, because she used to drive by it, had a dog that was just chained up in the front yard to a tree, 24/7. That's where it lived. It's just like, that is fucking unbelievable.
You shouldn't have a dog if you don't want it in your house. Like, I hate these people too. It's like, never let them on the couch, never let them on the bed. It's
Well, I don't know about that. If you want to have it, there are ways to do it. If you want to have dogs that are outside only, here's what you need. You need property that they can run around on. Because there are certain dogs that just don't do well as inside dogs. You have a kennel. So I knew people that had an outside kennel that you put them in at night so they don't fucking run. But during the daytime, you let them out. Let them roam. I had an outside only dog, basically. We would let her in every once in a blue moon. But Casey, when we lived out in the country, it was a way more even country than this. And Casey didn't even want to be inside. It was only rarely that she even cared to come inside. So it's different for different breeds. As long as they're being well taken care of, you can have an outside dog. But chaining them to a fucking tree where their whole life is like, an 8-foot circle, that's fucking ridiculous. Anyway,